Urban gentrification, a double-edged transformation of cities. Urban gentrification, a process that transforms neighborhoods economically, socially, and physically, has become a prominent and polarizing aspect of modern urban development. Characterized by the influx of middle or upper-class residents and businesses into traditionally lower-income areas, gentrification brings both improvements and challenges. While it can lead to revitalization of neglected areas, it can also create economic displacement and disrupt established communities. This essay examines the causes, impacts, and controversies surrounding gentrification, as well as the ways cities are addressing its complex effects. What is urban gentrification? Urban gentrification occurs when higher-income residents and businesses move into economically depressed neighborhoods, often attracted by lower property prices, proximity to urban centers, or unique architectural character. This influx brings with it investments that improve infrastructure, housing quality, and amenities, contributing to the overall economic and physical development of the area. However, this process also raises property values and living costs, often pricing out long-time residents who can no longer afford the neighborhood they once called home. Gentrification is typically a gradual process that may start with the renovation of older properties or the establishment of new businesses, attracting a more affluent demographic. Over time, this cycle amplifies, drawing in more investment and reshaping the character of the area. Causes of gentrification. The causes of gentrification are varied and interrelated, encompassing economic, social, and policy factors. Economic growth and investment. As cities expand economically, people are drawn to urban areas for jobs, lifestyle, and cultural offerings. Developers and investors capitalize on this demand by renovating neglected areas, turning them into desirable, higher-priced communities. Desire for urban living. The trend towards urban living, especially among young professionals and creative class workers, fuels demand for affordable, inner-city neighborhoods. These groups often value cultural diversity, walkability, and historic architecture, which older neighborhoods can offer. Government policies, urban renewal policies, tax incentives for developers, and investments in public infrastructure, such as transit and parks, often target economically depressed areas. While these policies aim to improve urban spaces, they also accelerate gentrification by making neighborhoods more attractive to wealthier demographics. Increased housing demand. In many large cities, housing demand outpaces supply, creating pressure on low-cost areas to accommodate more affluent newcomers. This limited availability of affordable housing in central urban areas encourages people to look to previously underserved neighborhoods. Positive impacts of gentrification. Gentrification can bring a range of benefits, transforming neglected neighborhoods into vibrant and economically productive parts of the city. Urban revitalization. Gentrification often brings investments in infrastructure, parks, and public spaces, enhancing the quality of life for residents. Streets become safer, neglected buildings are restored, and new businesses contribute to the local economy. Economic development. Gentrification attracts new businesses, restaurants, and cultural institutions, boosting the neighborhood's economy. As more businesses open, job opportunities increase, potentially benefiting the local population. Reduced crime rates, improved infrastructure, greater public investment, and higher income residents can result in lower crime rates. Increased visibility, surveillance, and policing efforts often come with gentrification, contributing to a perception of safety in the area. Increased property values. Gentrification leads to rising property values, benefiting homeowners who experience a significant increase in their home equity. For these residents, gentrification can lead to financial security and more investment in the community. Negative impacts of gentrification. While gentrification can bring new opportunities, it also presents significant challenges, particularly for lower-income residents. Economic displacement. Rising property values lead to increased rents and property taxes, which can make it difficult for long-term residents to afford to stay in the neighborhood. This displacement disrupts the lives of families and individuals, pushing them further from jobs, schools, and social networks. Loss of cultural identity. As new businesses and residents replace established ones, the unique character and history of the neighborhood can be lost. Locally owned stores may give way to chain retailers, and the culture that once defined the area may become diluted, reducing the diversity and inclusiveness of the city. Social fragmentation. The influx of higher-income residents can lead to social fragmentation, as economic differences create divides between long-time residents and newcomers. This division often leads to a loss of community cohesion and identity, as different social groups rarely interact meaningfully. Pressure on public services. The increase in population density can put pressure on local schools, transportation, and other public services. As the demographics shift, services that once catered to lower-income residents may no longer be prioritized, leading to a lack of resources for those who remain. Gentrification and social equity. Gentrification raises questions about social equity, particularly as it disproportionately affects marginalized communities. The displacement and disruption of lower-income families, often in neighborhoods with a high proportion of minority residents, can exacerbate existing social inequalities. Cities must grapple with the ethics of development and the balance between revitalization and community preservation. Urban policy that promotes gentrification without consideration of affordable housing, displacement mitigation, or community engagement can lead to a form of economic cleansing that pushes vulnerable populations out of the urban core. Addressing these issues requires policies that prioritize housing affordability, tenant protections, and inclusive community development. Managing gentrification, policies and solutions. Cities are increasingly aware of the need to manage gentrification in ways that benefit all residents. Some of the strategies used to address the challenges of gentrification include affordable housing initiatives. Many cities have implemented policies to require developers to include affordable housing in new developments. Rent control, subsidies, and community land trusts can also help preserve affordable housing options for low-income residents. Community engagement and inclusion. Engaging with community organizations and residents can help ensure that development aligns with the needs and values of the neighborhood. Inclusionary zoning policies can also promote mixed-income housing developments, fostering diversity. Preservation of local businesses. Supporting local businesses through grants, tax incentives, and low-interest loans can help preserve the unique character of neighborhoods while accommodating economic growth. Displacement assistance programs. Some cities provide financial assistance, relocation support, or legal aid to displaced residents, helping them find new housing and adapt to changes. This approach seeks to alleviate the most harmful effects of gentrification on vulnerable populations. Conclusion. Urban gentrification is a complex and transformative process that brings both benefits and challenges. While it can lead to the revitalization of neighborhoods, it also risks displacing long-standing residents and eroding the cultural identity of communities. Cities seeking sustainable and inclusive development must strive to balance economic growth with social responsibility. Through thoughtful policies and community involvement, cities can manage gentrification in ways that protect the rights and well-being of all residents, creating urban environments that are both vibrant and equitable.